Hi, this is Dr. Fox, and in this video we're going to talk about certain quarantining and those with NPD and the particular issues that this can bring about. Now, due to COVID-19, many of us are having to self-quarantine or be in other situations in which we're being told what to do and being directed to stay indoors. And that limits our choices that we can make. This experience and ones like it can bring out many narcissistic NPD maladaptive patterns that make managing the situation much more difficult. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about common responses and issues likely to be experienced and felt by those with NPD and NPD traits. I also made a video on BPD and quarantine. And so you may want to check that out as well, because based upon the different personality patterns or different personality types or traits, there are certain issues that may arise when having to self-quarantine, and I thought it was important to make a video to address that. So let's get into narcissistic personality disorder and quarantine. When individuals with NPD and NPD traits feel a loss of control, choice, and power, they are often likely to exhibit more often and more intensive maladaptive negative narcissistic traits, such as anger, rage, low frustration tolerance, belittling, and many others. And they do this in order to get a sense of control over the situation. However, this situation they cannot control. So if you are someone with these traits, I want you to remember that there is something you can control, and that is controlling yourself. And there's a lot of power, choice, and control in doing that. The core content of fear and doubt is something that's very common in a lot of the folks that I've worked with narcissistic personality disorder. This can raise great concerns and cause you to lash out to others and even towards yourself. So this fear and doubt that's underneath, that uncertainty and the questioning of your ability to manage it, is something that flows underneath, and that narcissistic personality disorder, those traits and those issues are overlaying that. So it's the surface structure of all of those narcissistic behaviors, and then underneath that core content is fear, doubt, sometimes it's shame, sometimes it's a sense of fear, inferiority. And having to self-quarantine is one of those things that can bring a lot of these things out, which lessens the individual's ability to manage those situations well, manage their own behaviors well. So we're going to talk more about it. Now, some of this may be hard to hear, okay, but don't expect others to know what you're thinking. That's something that's real common in those with narcissistic personality disorder, is that they believe that other people should be smart enough to know what they expect them to do. And that can be really, really frustrating, especially in this situation, because so many things are fluid, so many things are changing on a daily basis. So don't expect others to know how to behave. Okay? And also, right, you have to have control over yourself as well. And that's really important about managing your own behavior, trying to manage the situation as you are in it. You can't manage the entire situation because this is a global issue, but you can manage yourself, and you can manage your own choice, your own power. And that's really important. And the way to do this is to remain calm, and you have to rise above the situation. So you might be like, rise above the situation. How can I rise above a situation that I can't control? Great question or thought if you're having it. Okay, so you want to exude tolerance of yourself and for others as well. Remember that when you explode and you yell and scream and all those other things, when you lose control, when you go into that narcissistic rage or you go into those maladaptive patterns, you lose that sense of control, and you end up drowning in the opposite of what you really want and need: to be seen in control and to be seen as important. So how can we meet that need? What you need to do is maintain that sense of self-control. When you feel yourself starting to get frustrated, you have to slow down. You have to take a deep breath. Sometimes you have to exit yourself from the situation. A lot of us are being quarantined in homes with many other people. The bathroom is often a place where you can go and you can get some time to yourself, take some deep breaths, calm down, remind yourself that you are in control of you and your own behavior. Now, another tendency in high-stress situations for those with narcissistic personality disorder is finger pointing. Now, when that tendency for finger pointing, you're going to need to slow down and remember that this is the situation we're in. There's nothing we can do about it. The best thing we can do is manage ourselves, right? Wash our hands, do those other things that they're telling us to do, maintain that social distancing. Now let's use an example. Let's say that there's someone in your house who could not find something at the store or didn't order something, right? And now you cannot get it. And by verbally attacking them, only makes things worse. This only increases the situation, the stress in the situation that you're in. Also, right, when you yell at someone, they don't really hear you, but they only remember how you made them feel in that situation. Now, what happens is a lot of times when individuals explode and they yell and scream and sometimes they throw things and do other types of things that are really maladaptive, there's this false belief and reinforcement that happens after the explosive episode, which is sometimes the other individual will do what you're demanding, yelling and screaming for them to do. But what's important to know is they're not doing that because you yelled at them. They're doing that because you caused fear in them, because you made them somehow feel like they had no choice in order to do that. They're not empowered to help you. They're not empowered to look at you and see you as an individual who can make choices, who can handle situations, and who they can look up to. Instead, what they do is they see you as someone who needs to be avoided, who needs to be pacified, and you're not building that sense of respect that a lot of individuals along narcissistic spectrum want or feel that they need. Now, right now, we all need to help and participate to get through this. So you want to pay attention to that urge to finger point, to say, you should have done this, you should have done that. And instead, you want to ask yourself, how can I encourage help? For a lot of individuals along the narcissistic spectrum, this is difficult. Being open, honest, upfront can be very scary. A lot of times they may use passive-aggressive tactics. A lot of times they may use other tactics, manipulation at times, in order to get someone else to do what they want them to do. A lot of because of that fear and doubt that they have inside themselves about sense of self-worth, about sense of being heard, about sense of having control. And there could be this thought process where they're like, well, if I have to ask, then that means I'm not sufficient enough to do it. And if I'm not sufficient enough to do it, then how can I be perfect and deserve being looked up to and be seen as in control? It's this whole other side of this spectrum, of this issue, that a lot of folks don't recognize. Now, I'm not rationalizing that behavior, I'm trying to explain it. And I think having this insight and understanding can help folks manage that situation. That if you're someone who is along that spectrum, that recognizing and seeing these traits in yourself is important, and to learn how to manage it, about slowing down, finding other ways to ask for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. Individuals along the narcissistic spectrum are not good at that because, again, they feel that it shows their inadequacies, their failures, their fear, their doubt. But the rest of us know that that isn't true. But that's part of the makeup of narcissistic personality disorder, is part of that fear. If I don't know everything, then I know nothing. And that's sort of how they operate. They operate in this splitting component, right? Which is similar to those along borderline personality disorder, but a lot of narcissists split for themselves, and they split in how they see themselves and their expectations of themselves. And in this situation that we're all in, is that we all have to help each other. We all have to work out with each other, and we're all trying to learn more about what's going on and learn how to manage our lives and learn how to keep ourselves and others safe, and so we don't get it, and if we do get it, how do we manage it, and all these other things. And that's very scary, and those along narcissistic spectrum can make things much, much, much more difficult by exuding a lot of those maladaptive patterns. So what we need to do is fall back to those adaptive patterns, not finger point, recognize that you're going to have to ask for help. We're all in this to help each other, and that we have to manage our own selves. We have to manage our own reactions to the situation. And sometimes we're going to need to step out. That's why the bathroom is a good place. Go into the bathroom, right? Take some time, take some deep breathing. If you go into the restroom with your phone, which most people do, then, watch like a funny clip or something that is very relaxing. What I like to do is I like to watch drone videos of like sometimes of Hawaii, like or other beautiful sort of landscapes and ocean settings and things like that. And I like to watch that, and I just kind of stare at it for a little bit, and it just helps me kind of chill, just kind of relax. And it's really good. And that may be something that you like. Or there's other types of scenes or other types of things that you can watch. I also like watching news bloopers. Little self-disclosure there. I think news bloopers are really funny. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And it helps me relax, helps me unwind a little bit, detach from the situation a little bit. Remember to do those skills. Remember to maintain that self-control and resist that urge to finger point and blame. That's not helping the situation. And the best way to fulfill that narcissistic need of being important, of being seen as in control, is to maintain control of yourself. Is not to blame others for the situation that we're in. Is not to say if you did this, this would be better in this way, that way. Is to maintain that sense of self-control. Is to be open to feedback as best you can. Manage yourself again, and try to manage the situation that we're all in. I hope that you're all staying safe and taking care of each other and yourselves. And I wish you all the best. And if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. So thank you very much, and please take care and be safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.